Hey, everybody, and welcome to the deep dive. You know how this works, right? We take a listener suggestion, a piece of real-world English, and we deep dive into it.
That's right. And today we're tackling something that I think a lot of you will find really useful, especially if you're new to English.
Exactly. We're going to be looking at a conversation that you might hear, I don't know, maybe at the gym.
Yeah, exactly. At the gym. Super common situation.
But it's amazing how much we can learn from it. Everyday English like this, it's like gold.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about those practical phrases, the kind of stuff you actually use when you're talking to people.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're actually going to act out a short dialogue so you can really hear how it sounds.
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
Okay, so I'll be Ella, and you can be Alex.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready.
Hey, Alex. Wow, you look great. You're getting so strong.
Thanks, Ella. I've been working out a lot.
That's awesome. What do you do after you work out?
I like to stretch. It helps my muscles relax.
That's a good idea. I need to stretch more too. See? It's like a snapshot of a real conversation, right?
It is. And it's so natural, so easy to follow.
Exactly. And even though it's short, there's a lot we can unpack here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There are some key phrases and words that are super common, super useful.
Okay, so let's break it down then. What really jumps out at you?
Well, right off the bat, that first line, you look great, you're getting so strong. That's such a nice way to start a conversation, you know? It's a compliment.
Yeah, and it's a double whammy, right? Like you're acknowledging their hard work and that it's paying off.
Exactly. And it's not just for the gym either, right? You could say this to a friend who's been studying hard or maybe learning a new skill.
Oh, for sure. So listeners, remember that one. You look great. It's a good one to have in your back pocket.
Now, how about Alex's response? He says, "Thanks, Ella. I've been working out a lot." It's simple, but it works.
Yeah, he's acknowledging the compliment and then giving a reason for why he looks so good.
Right. And notice he uses the present perfect continuous tense, "I've been working out." It's great for talking about things you've been doing regularly.
Oh, that's a good grammar point. So if you're talking about something you do a lot, like I've been studying English every day or I've been cooking more at home.
Perfect examples, you got it.
Mm,
Now, Ella keeps the conversation going. She asks, "What do you do after you work out?"
That's a good one. It shows she's interested. And she wants to learn more about Alex's routine.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a question you can use in all sorts of situations, like, what do you do after school, or what do you do on weekends? It's a good way to keep things flowing.
So versatile, right? Okay, so then Alex tells her, I like to stretch. Simple, but important, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. For one thing, it's about preference. I like to. It's how you talk about things you enjoy. And stretching, well, it's a common activity.
Yeah, especially at the gym. So if you like doing something, just say, I like to, and then add the activity like I like to read or I like to watch movies.
You got it. But then Alex goes a little deeper, right? He says, "It helps my muscles relax." He's giving a reason for why he stretches.
Which makes it more interesting, right? Like we're learning something about Alex and about stretching.
Exactly. And you can use this structure to talk about all kinds of things you do. Like, I drink water because it keeps me hydrated. Or, I study English because I want to travel.
That's really helpful. Adding that because gives your sentences more depth, more meaning.
Yeah.
Okay, last line. Ella says, that's a good idea. I need to stretch more too. What do we see here?
Agreement. She's agreeing with Alex that stretching is a good thing, and she's even admitting that she needs to do it more.
It's a nice way to connect, right? To
Yeah.
show that you're listening and that you relate to what the other person is saying.
For sure. And then there's that word need, which is a big one. It means it's important, right?
Right, like I need to eat or I need to sleep. Those are important things.
Exactly. And when you say "I need to," you're saying it's important to you to do that thing. Like, I need to practice English every day. It shows commitment.
This is so cool. I mean, we've just scratched the surface here, but we've already found so much to talk about.
I know, right? It's amazing how much we can learn from a simple conversation.
And it's not over yet. We're just getting warmed up. We'll be back in a flash to dig even deeper into this dialogue.
We'll be right back.
And we're back. Still diving deep into this gym chat. It's pretty amazing how much we can learn from just a few lines, huh?
It really is. Like, we've hit on some key phrases, some important words, but there's more to uncover, isn't there? Like the flow of the conversation, how it all moves along.
Okay, yeah. What do you see there? How do they go from one thing to the next so smoothly?
Well, think about it. Starts with a compliment, right? A great way to break the ice, create a positive vibe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then what does Ella do? She asks Alice about his routine, what he does after a workout.
Oh, I see. So she's not just making small talk. She's really interested.
Exactly. And Alex, he shares his thing, his preference for stretching, and why he does it. It keeps the conversation moving, organically.
Like a back and forth, a little dance. You ask, you share, you show you're listening.
You got it. And then don't forget, Ella connects with Alex, right? She agrees about the stretching, mentions she needs to do more too.
Well, that's a good point. They're on the same page. They've found common ground.
Exactly. So even in this short little chat, we see how important it is to be engaged, to ask questions, to listen, and to find ways to connect, right?
This is so helpful. It's like you're giving us a secret formula for good conversation.
Huh, not really a secret. But it's something a lot of language learners, they miss it. They get so focused on grammar, on vocabulary, they forget about just connecting with the other person.
Right. It's not just about being perfect. It's about actually communicating, building relationship.
Totally. And you know what's interesting? This conversation, it could happen anywhere, not just at the gym.
Oh, yeah, I get what you mean. Like at a park, at a coffee shop, even at work, these phrases would work.
Precisely. The setting might change, but the basic stuff, the compliment, the question about routine, sharing what you like, finding common ground that's universal.
Wow, that's really eye-opening.
That's the beauty of language. Once you get these patterns, you start to see them everywhere.
Like cracking the code.
Now, let's zoom back in on the dialogue for a sec. There are a few words that I think are worth highlighting for our listeners.
Okay, which ones were you thinking of?
Well, how about routine? Remember, Ella asks Alex, what do you do after you work out? She's basically asking about his routine, what he does regularly after exercise.
Oh, yeah, routine. That's a good one to know.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have routines, right? Things we do at certain times or in a certain order.
Exactly. You could have a morning routine, an evening routine, a workout routine, a study routine, you name it.
So if I want to ask someone about their routine, I could say, what's your dot routine? And just fill in the blank.
Exactly. And if you want to tell someone about yours, you can say, my dot routine is, or I usually, and then list the actions.
Okay, this is starting to make a lot of sense.
Mhm.
It's like all these simple words and phrases, they're like building blocks.
They are. And what's cool about routine is that it can also be used in a more general way to describe something that's, predictable, habitual.
Oh, like when someone says, I'm stuck in a rut or I need to break out of my routine.
Exactly. So knowing those different shades of meaning, it really expands how you can use a word.
Each word's like a little treasure chest.
Now, another word I wanted to point out is relax. Alex says stretching helps his muscles relax. It's a very common verb, especially when you're talking about health and well-being.
Yeah, relax.
Hmm.
We all need to do it right for both our minds and bodies.
Absolutely. And there are so many ways to relax: reading, listening to music, being in nature, taking a bath, meditating. I mean, it goes on and on.
So if I wanted to ask someone how they relax, I could say, what do you do to relax?
Hmm.
Or how do you unwind?
Perfect. And if you want to tell someone how you relax, you could say, I like to, followed by your favorite activity.
Huh? I feel like I could have a whole conversation about relaxation now.
That's great. And what's cool is that relax can also be used in a more figurative sense to describe a situation or an atmosphere.
Like when someone says, the atmosphere at the party was very relaxed, or the rules have been relaxed.
Exactly. So again, understanding those different nuances, you can use the word in more situations.
This is so fascinating. It's like we're peeling back the layers of language.
And we're just getting started. There's still more to discover in this simple gym chat.
I can't wait to see what else we find.
Me too.
Back again for more deep dive fun. We've been really breaking down this gym conversation, haven't we? finding all these little gems of language.
It's amazing what you can learn from these everyday interactions, right? Like, you don't need a textbook to become fluent.
It's true. We've covered so much vocabulary, grammar, how the conversation flows, even some of those unspoken things.
And the big takeaway, learning English doesn't have to be boring. It can be fun, especially when you focus on these real conversations, the kind you actually have with people.
Absolutely. It's like we're learning by doing, by listening to how people naturally speak.
And that's what we're all about here, right? Making English feel real, relevant to your life.
Speaking of real life, I was thinking maybe it would help our listeners if we talked about, how they can actually use these phrases, like in their own conversations.
Totally, because what good is knowing stuff if you don't use it, right?
Exactly. So let's say one of our listeners is at the gym, wants to start a chat. What advice would you give them?
First thing, relax. Don't be scared to make mistakes. Everyone does it, especially when you're learning. The important thing is to keep practicing, learn from those mistakes.
It's so true. We get so caught up in trying to be perfect, we forget that the goal is just to communicate.
Right. And honestly, most people are pretty cool about it. They're patient with language learners. They appreciate the effort. So don't be shy. Just go for it. People are usually pretty friendly.
Definitely. Okay, now, for some actual tips, I'd say start by observing. Watch how other people at the gym interact. Listen to them. Pay attention to their body language, their tone of voice.
Ooh, that's smart. Like you're gathering intel before you jump in.
Exactly. Then, when you feel ready, just start simple. A hi or hello. Maybe even a compliment like, you look great, or you're doing a great job.
Those are perfect icebreakers, aren't they? Nice and positive.
And then you can follow up with a question, maybe about their routine or their workout, something like, what are you working on today? Or how often do you come to the gym?
Great examples. It's like we're giving our listeners a little toolkit.
Exactly. And the more they use those tools, the more confident they'll become.
It's like learning to ride a bike, right? A little wobbly at first, but with practice, it becomes second nature.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And the best part is, once you start to see these patterns, you can make your own sentences, express yourself in your own way. It's about giving our listeners the power to be fluent, to be confident speaking English.
And that's what the deep dive is all about, right? Language connects us. It helps us understand each other. We want people to unlock that power.
Wow, this has been quite a journey. We started with a simple conversation at the gym, and look where we ended up.
It shows you learning is everywhere, as long as you're open to it, curious about the world.
And this is just the beginning. We've got so many more deep dives coming your way, all kinds of topics, all kinds of languages.
So make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you don't miss a single one.
And if you like this one, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends. We love hearing from you. So leave a comment. Let us know what you learned.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and remember, every conversation is a chance to grow.
Happy learning, everybody.
Thanks for joining the conversation here at Kaz English. We hope you found it fun and informative. Don't forget to check out kazapp.uk. That's kazapp.uk for more tips, resources, and interactive practice. Keep exploring, keep chatting, and we'll catch up with you again soon.